So before I have
you
done
said
that,
a lot of times you said you put like 90 rounds into a fucking
30.
house.
I did. I put 30 rounds in house, but you know what? I got in big trouble for that. But I mean, I was sent to get him, and I couldn't get him. But yeah, I was told that I dressed like a rapper.
And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged, and investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.
FBI, open up! Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to have some fun. I appreciate all you guys that take your time to watch this show. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. There's a lot of videos to watch. I have over 4,000 interviews for you to go through. Lot of great content on the way. Hey, I got you. What's good? Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Daniel, how are you? Or is that Danielle? Daniel, thank you for watching. I appreciate you. There's a lot of great content. I'm dropping a lot of videos. There's still more with Todd Bartos, the correction officer at High Desert. I got more with Repo Rod. I believe we're on part 5. It's going to drop tonight. You guys don't want to miss it. There's some unexpected things that he's going to talk about in that one. So we're going to have some fun today. Remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. I don't wish harm on any of these people. Just here to, we use their own words. We show you the hypocrisy, which is these mafia rats, because without that, there is no opposition, and they get to spew their lies and bullshit. Not today. Is that Adam 22 behind you? Yes. Why, yes, it is. So let's take a look at the content. Hit the like button. Let's get to it.
Top of that, the law enforcement heat that you get when you drop bodies,
All right, that's Anthony Areola. He is the mafia rat out of Springfield, Massachusetts. He's the one that ratted on Freddie Diaz and Ty Diaz. They are stand-up guys, and he put them in prison for the rest of their life. To the left of him is Eugene, the Mafia man, Barillo. He was not in the mafia, never was, never will be. And he's up here claiming he has bodies. So let's listen to the hypocrisy. Angela, how are you? Thank you for joining me. Hey, Staxx, you've been doing great shows recently. Keep it up. I appreciate you.
they surveil you 24/7. You know, they put bugs in my cars. Every restaurant I would go to, everywhere you go frequently, they put listening
Well, tell them what they use.
devices.
They use terrorists.
Tell them what they use. Yeah. Tell them what they use. They use terrorist stuff. For you, right? Because they can just slip a bug in your leather jacket. They could sew a bug into your leather jacket.
They use counterterrorism equipment on mafia. So we were the #1 most priority.
We were the #1 most priority. You were not in the mafia, so you were not a priority. You got arrested for some bullshit and you cooperated against loose associates at best. You were not in the mafia.
In the country at one time. So they have unlimited resources. So let's say they're FBI, right? They'll go to their people. We want to take down Anthony Arellato's crew. You have whatever you.
It wasn't hard to take down Anthony Areola's crew. He took it down himself. He cooperated against all of them. I believe he got arrested for a domestic, something like that. got into an argument with his kid or something. And I believe he got arrested and cooperated against his whole crew. So I don't know what they're talking about. Oh, they used them to go against his whole crew. No, Anthony Areola cooperated against his own crew. So that's how they took down Areola.
Well, look, usually you get a budget. With organized crime, whatever you want, 30 million. I mean, don't care. Just get him.
You drop bodies. What happened? Like, say, John Gotti Sr., right, when he was at the height.
All right, John Gotti Sr. has nothing to do. I know, I think they're dating, right? They must be dating.
Of his height.
Now, they got to bring up John Gotti Sr. because he had no dealings with either one of these guys at all. Never would in a lifetime.
Profile when he was living. It's just like when you drop bodies. We killed a boss of the Western Mass faction of the Genovese family.
That's his new slogan. We're dropping bodies. We drop bodies. Gene's dropping bodies, all right.
That brought so much heat. Never mind other murders that we were participated in and other shootings and other conspiracy to murders. We had so much heat on it that the 4-state area, New York, Connecticut.
That's another one, right? Area. That's his other favorite word to use. My area. My area.
Providence and Mass. Anybody that got arrested for some sort of organized crime or even drug crime.
You don't care about the rest of Rhode Island, just Providence?
Well, I meant, that's where
primarily where it's
the stronghold of the mafia was back then.
Got it.
Yeah, and you weren't in control of none of it. You still walk around like you're in the mafia, Areola. It's your little burner phone and shit. I know all about you.
You know, but anybody that was like a young kid get caught for, like I said, we controlled all the marijuana back then. You get caught for marijuana. They would say, what do you guys know about, myself, Anthony, and his crew? It was like a get out of jail card for them if they got caught with a couple kilos of coke and they were associates of ours. And they say, oh yeah, I could tell you stuff about that crew. That's what happens when you have that notoriety. You get.
No, that's what happened to you. He used his little leverage of knowing where a body was to tell on his crew when he got in trouble. Gene applies Vaseline on his body after he drops them.
24/7 surveillance, listening devices in your car. They put listening devices in homes of my crew guys that we went and did the work, the loan shark, the numbers, the sports, and we meet every week.
And that kind of shit is stuff that I never heard of when it came to like Bloods and Crips type shit.
Well, now they're doing.
Okay, here comes the now he's an expert on gang violence too, all right? So let's hear this. Let's hear what Lips here has to say.
I don't know. Maybe it does happen.
Now in the 5 boroughs, the gangs, because organized crime fell off kind of. Now they're probably using that stuff. I wouldn't say like what they were using on us, but they're definitely.
Fell off kind of. You weren't involved. You were a loose associate at best. You were not in the mafia. I don't know how many times I got to say it.
Spending more money to get them because they're in the RICO guys. They're in the RICO guys. The organized Italian mafia in the 5 boroughs is kind of like no more violence.
Right.
And they're the ones committing violence. The gangs are committing the violence.
They're killing the shit out of people. So.
Which they're happy.
Oh, you were the only one committing the violence, right, Eugene? You were the only guy ever to commit violence.
The prosecutors are happy because those bring the big cases and they're really not making the money. I mean, the cartels are making the money. The old school drug guys get smart enough to get out of that gang mentality life because now they're making, the heavy money,
Hey, Big Gus, what's good?
They don't want nothing to do with that gang banging stuff as a young kid, 20, 25 years old. And anybody that's involved in that, if they're still involved in it, they're not making any money. Otherwise, they're gone. You know, once you start making the big money, what are you doing hanging around corners and hanging around gangbanging and shooting a guy because he's wearing a red or blue shirt?
Yeah, because I mean, that's one thing I've heard about, especially with San Francisco and shit, is that they have like migrants who basically will come up from like issued by the cartels and stuff, and they'll be the ones selling all the drugs in a place like Portland or San Francisco, etc. And there's no American gangs that are really like involved with this in any way, so they're making millions off of these cities which have like the worst fentanyl and heroin or whatever.
Everybody's dying. All my friends are dead off fentanyl. Yeah.
Right, but then there's no.
Yeah, because they're all junkies. They weren't in the mafia.
Like American counterpart who's partaking in this. They're doing everything,
stopping them from coming in. Like these cartels, oh no, you can't deal here. This is our area. This is, but you know why? Because they can't get at
Thrilladilla killer. Mickey Griggs, the creator of Mob 2. Shout out to Mickey. James was good.
their hands on those drugs. It's the cartels are the ones getting their hands on it, pushing it too. Unless they give it to these big time drug dealers, where are they getting it from?
Definitely. Oh, okay. If we were to ask, like, why are all these kids in Chicago killing each other, people would give us, you know, if you were to go like dig a little bit deeper, you'd end up with, you know, there's no opportunities. These areas are historically impoverished, etc. And that kind of makes sense to you of like why these types of kids would end up doing these terrible things to each other.
Jedi.
What are the economic conditions, or like from your perspective, that led, you know, the Italian mafia to becoming what it was? Like, what were the circumstances that made you guys so different than other white people?
So here's the
difference coming from a non-mafia member. Let's hear it.
Thing. Italians that migrated, we had nothing.
Right.
We didn't have shit.
He didn't migrate here. Again, he did not migrate from anywhere.
Came over to this country with poverty, treated like crap. So we actually were you know, discriminated. We were hungry.
Greaseball.
We were just like the gangs.
Cops used to beat us up. Same thing which they do.
We had nothing.
From a modern perspective, it's hard to imagine that
gangs.
white people could be that split up into different categories.
Yes, but we had nothing when we first came over. My grandfather, you know, they come over, they had holes in it, nothing. Poverty, poor. So they were doing, you know, that's why they got to that, you know. And then we evolved to make, you know, a lot of money. But when we came over, poor, dirt poor.
And I'll say this, like when you said Chicago, when the Italian immigrants came, they weren't ghettos. Like I lived in a, you could call it turned into a ghetto. But when I was a young kid, it was a neighborhood, Italian, Irish neighborhood. There wasn't a ghetto. And here's the difference of like when you said Chicago, there was no drugs in our neighborhood. So I think that's the big downfall with these people killing each other when these kids growing up is what chance do they got when the whole neighborhood is, you got ballers, you know, drug dealers on corners trying to sell drugs.
I don't know. I think he forgot his undershirt at the YMCA.
There was none of that when the Italians or immigrants came in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. You know, the Italians in Western Mass, where I grew up, Springfield, we had Italian section all the way up until the early 2000s.
Yeah, you're right. Ghetto equals black neighborhood, 100%. There isn't like ghetto white neighborhoods. You go to the trailer park for that. That's the ghetto for white people, right? I mean, there's all ethnicities in the hood. There's Spanish, there's a few white, there's black, but the majority of the ghettos for white people is like a trailer park.
You never had a, you know, like the drug presence that it was, you know, up until like the 90s that it became. So I think the drug presence is the thing that ruins the makes neighborhoods ghettos.
Look at Gene fidgeting in his seat over there.
Makes them crime-ridden and all that violence.
But the biggest style of violence in terms of Chicago or whatever are really just these feuds between different neighborhoods in which, like, it just becomes this blood feud where it's like you killed one of my guys, so we're gonna kill one of your guys, and it just goes back and forth over and over and over for like 20 fucking years.
When you're in the feds, you're locked up with everybody right all over the world. All over
Yeah. Let's hear it from the guy that was in protective custody with the rest of the rats. Let's hear it.
Country, sorry. Even the world sometimes. You get guys from other countries. We were guys out of Chicago. They were shooting each other where it's so hysterical how it's not funny, but the way they operate is crazy. You're sitting on your stoop. You're beef with the block over.
Yeah.
They're sitting like ducks.
Yeah.
They're coming over with choppers. Why are you sitting outside? I tell them, if you know these guys got choppers.
Right.
And they're just shooting each other in front of the buildings.
Because they're not scared like you.
what the fuck is going on? Like, what is going on here? You should just have choppers. They keep them on the side of the stoops, and they literally just wait for people to walk by and shoot them. What the fuck is this? I said, this is crazy. It's like almost like a third world country over there.
But that's like,
Oh, yeah, like a third world country over here, but it's in the U.S. You know nothing about gang politics, gang life. You know absolutely nothing. So I don't even know why he's commenting on this shit. Just like he knows nothing about the mafia. This guy's idiot.
not relatable to you? Like,
Not
it
that.
never became like that, where
No.
it's like, you took one of
That's
mine,
the
so we're
Colum-
just going to go
that's
back
the
and forth
Columbo
over
War.
and
Let me
over?
explain something about the mafia.
Yeah, tell us about the Colombo War that you were not involved with, or anything to do with the mafia.
Well, I'll fuck your head up real fast, and I'll let him go.
Okay.
Me and you can be best of friends, but you're in a different family. We're at war.
I gotta lure you to a room and kill you, which you never did.
We kill each other, right? We start killing each other. The bosses can say, you just killed my best friend, Anthony. Right? You killed my best friend. I want to retaliate on you. The war's over. You can't do nothing. I can't touch you. I got to see you say hello to you. It's over. Once they say it's over, it's over. That's it. There's no negotiating.
Right.
You're at war, you could be shooting each other, best friends. You killed my fucking best friend.
Right.
The next day it's over, you can't do nothing. Can't say a word.
That's all I hear when I hear this guy talk.
We're very the laws with us are very strict. Gangs do not have that.
But then somebody clever like you, are you going to be figuring out, oh, how I'm
Yeah, someone clever like you. How clever is Barillo Lip?
I did this to the door. I pushed the door in. I did this to the door. I did this to the door. I did this to the door. I pushed the door in. I pushed the door in. I pushed the door in. I pushed the door in.
That's real. That's your mafia hitman right there.
going to pay somebody who's not affiliated with this to kill him?
You got to be careful, man. You're walking on eggshells. You know what I'm saying?
If somebody kills someone in your family, how do you let that go? Really?
Right.
You know, if somebody kill, I don't care if it was me and somebody did that to somebody in my family. I wouldn't care what the boss was. I'd go and kill them as much as I can.
Now you walk around Springfield where you were involved with killing Al Bruno, and you walk around like you're safe. Your miscomplacency. Hey, keep doing it, Areola. Keep doing it. Keep rubbing it in the faces of the people that you hurt and put away in prison for life. Walk around with your head held high like you're not a rat. Same thing with you, Gino. You don't go back to your neighborhood. Your ass ran down to Tampa with the rest of the rats. Tampa's like a safe haven for rats. You got Dominic Sicali. All of them are down there in Tampa. Tampa is rat infested.
Italy is a totally different game because there's a lot of immigrants that came to the Springfield area, Western Mass, from other towns in Naples,
Right.
province, and they had a war going on, and they killed there was the Grazianos versus the Cavas, and that war they took out 30 members. This was back in the 90s. They were up to 30 members in each family getting murdered by the other faction. They were killing fathers, and they had the woman even involved because the towns were so small.
That's what they do. They talk about other mafia members to try to affiliate themselves somehow, some way.
That were involved in helping the husbands and be the gangsters. So in Italy, that exists.
Hey, Edwin, how are you?
They shoot at your houses. They don't care if they murder your kids.
We don't operate like that.
Yeah.
We don't operate. Who's this we shit? You better turn that W upside down because you're not involved.
But so that's the reason I'm bringing that up. Is it's similar to, like you said,
He said, we don't operate. Women and children are off limits,
I
huh?
did this to the door. I did this to the door. I did this to the door. I pushed the door in. I pushed the door in. I pushed the door in. I pushed the door in.
In this Airbnb, right?
Yes, I pushed the door.
And whose card is on file here?
Yours. But I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix the door for you. I'm gonna fix the door for you. I'm gonna fix the door for you. I'm gonna fix the door for you.
So if I get charged for this,
You're not being charged.
I'm suing you. I'm taking you to court.
Fixing you. I did this to the door.
That's the mafia member, the big hitman.
Killed one of mine. That all exists in
Over there,
Italy. And I
Sicily.
think it listed in Canada. They're killing everybody like crazy.
Yeah,
too
Canada's
with,
still killing
with this
people.
Stuff.
Really?
Yeah,
So
they
I
still
mean
going
that
crazy.
exists, and
They
I
just
think
killed
it
the boss.
would exist here. Like if you shoot in somebody, if somebody shot your brother or and he was part of that life, you're gonna want revenge on them.
Right.
Where does that? You can't get rid. Especially if you're a killer.
Yeah.
If you killed somebody and someone shot your son, let's just say, you're not letting that go.
Right. Yeah, because like that, whenever we try to have conversations with dudes from Chicago about how this could eventually sort of resolve itself or get to the point where it's less murderous, you just end up with people who just seem like they don't have any hope that this could ever sort of settle itself just because there's too many people who died on each side of it. And even recently we had like a very high profile thing where two guys who are successful that don't have to be in the mix in terms of street shit, Lil Durk and FYB J Mane, they got on the phone and they actually like were discussing pushing peace in Chicago. And like at first you see a ton of positivity about it, and then as a little bit of time goes by, you start to see more and more people popping up talking shit to the person in this conversation who seems more like they're the one who took the L.
There's
like,
no peace with Little Dirk, I don't think.
well, but
Because he's a little Dirk expert, I thought he was in the mafia. So I'm confused. He goes from witness protection unit to a professional about gangster rappers.
I follow that stuff.
okay, but this is the
Oh, he follows that stuff. Oh, that makes total sense.
thing. Lil Durk, it's easier for him to say pushing peace and that it's all good
Yeah.
because they're perceived as being the ones who killed more of the other side than vice versa. So it's like it's kind of like he could maintain his rep and say it, but you see a lot of people popping out who want to shit on J Mane for being open to this. But that's what I keep saying is like, if there's ever going to be anything resembling peace, even just between these two sides, there's going to have to be one side that kind of makes it clear, like, look, we might not necessarily be winning this situation, but we're still going to take a step back and say, okay, like we're going to try to be part of the solution.
You're on TikTok, I'm sure, right?
For sure.
I think Little Dirk put up a picture of him and all his friends. He's the only one alive.
Yeah.
Out of the picture, there was 9 of them. He's the only one alive. They were all 20-some years old.
Yeah, it's fucked.
Okay?
Yeah.
Fucks your head up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like
Oh, yeah, because you know what it's like, right, Gino? Because all the bodies dropping around you, and you were responsible for them all, right? If you guys don't know, Little Dirk's son just shot his stepfather because he was in an argument with the mom, Little Dirk's baby's mama, and his little son, I think he was 10, grabbed the gun off his stepfather and shot him. He didn't kill him, but he wounded him.
I don't really follow a lot of that stuff, but like you're saying, this Little Dirk, he's he's killed people and had people killed and all that, right?
I wouldn't say that, but he's definitely rapped about all that shit so much, and he's been associated with a lot of people who are like verified
His best friend
killers.
was King Von.
Right,
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
The guy was smoking everybody.
And how long is he going to last for then?
Well, but he's a superstar. He's huge. Millions of dollars. He's able to have the security around him, etc.
Hundreds.
That's
He's over
even
100
worse.
million
That's
now.
even more. You don't think John Gotti was worth, hundreds?
Here we go with John Gotti again. They have no association with John Gotti whatsoever, either one of these fucking guys. Here they go, using his name. Doug, what's good? Gotta watch Staxx. Who the heck I'm leaving comments with, man? Shady motherfuckers got sights, man. I'm on green. I'm green still, but losing the green slowly. Gotti. Yeah, they always got to mention him.
It's $100 million.
$500 million.
I mean, they still went after him.
Yeah.
They
But the
wanted
difference
that.
with him is that he's at least could be completely clean of anything street related at this point. And he
At
could
this
just make
point,
music.
but
yeah.
like you said, if he's dropping those bodies,
Murders,
told somebody
there's no
to do
statute.
them back then. Somebody had to commit.
There's no statue. Okay, so what about the 2 bodies that you dropped that you were never charged with?
murders.
I wouldn't say that. Nobody talks about him as if he was the one actually killing people, you know? So it's like, it's more like he's probably the voice box of that. Although, who knows what happened back in the day, you know? But it does seem like in Chicago, like if someone was a killer, usually it's pretty out in the open. Their reputation usually
They love
precedes
that
them.
shit.
Yeah.
I think that's the worst gang state, I think.
Chicago?
I would say. Chicago or LA.
Yeah.
That's what you would say because you don't know shit. So you don't know a fucking thing. You don't even know what you're talking about. You this dude thinks he's a fucking, I don't know. He's an expert now on gang violence. He has no clue what he's talking about. There's gangs all over this country. What's he saying that? Because he sees the news? You have no clue about all the gang shootings and different things that are going on all over the country because they just showed Chicago. They don't show the other places.
Well, New York's getting really bad right now, too.
New York is insane.
Yeah, New York is getting really bad. You know, that's why I had to run my ass down to Tampa with the other rats.
Yeah, New York's getting really bad right now. Actually, the Bronx is like bad.
Exactly. And that's one thing I've heard academics say.
Yeah, where you'll never go back there, right?
Which I found pretty interesting over the years, is that, yeah, the government allowed Chicago to become this fucking war zone, but when you start talking about New York City, this is just a place where so much important business and so much of the high life takes place that the cops, like, I mean, you know, just like we know, New York City cops have funding way beyond the wildest dreams of most states in America. Like, they're gonna fucking take care of problems. They're way more aggressive with shutting shit down.
Gene's got more work done on his lips than any work he did in the streets. Angela says Gene has more work done on his lips than me and my woman. Oh man, Gene's got more work on his lips than he ever did in the street.
Down than almost any other state.
Right.
So like there's a
We're
belief,
the trendsetters.
Yeah, well, there's a belief that like the drill scene will never be able to like fully prosper in New York because they won't allow this kind of stuff.
Now Gene just said he's the trendsetter.
Well, I mean, it'll probably prosper just with less murder and more people getting locked up earlier
just
on.
got killed. What's his name? Paul. They were just talking about it. He was talking about more people getting killed all the time. They just killed him 2 days ago.
Folio. Another rapper you know nothing about. Gang violence down there in Jacksonville is pretty bad.
Fulio.
Yeah,
from
he just got
Florida.
killed.
Yeah.
Another rapper just got killed. You know, it's what goes on. You know what
He's what you are, a Folio.
I mean? So, you know, they talk about it in their music. The feds are listening.
Right.
You talk about it on podcasts and the feds are listening, but the difference is the feds are in your pocket. They're in back of you. They're probably waiting for you to finish this fucking interview to give you a ride to the airport. That's the difference. Fed Eugene.
They use it in court cases, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, it's only a matter of time.
Do you feel like you're somebody who was kind of influenced by the way that, you know, street gangs are doing stuff? Because there's a Rio the Young OG lyric that kind of reminds me of you. He said they started shooting up houses. They took the fun out of it.
Listen to his next line. Are you guys ready for this?
I shot a house before. I have
You
done
said
that.
a lot of times. You said you put like 90 rounds into a fucking
30.
house.
I did. I put 30 rounds in the house. But you know what? I got in big trouble for that. But I mean, I was sent to get him and I couldn't get him. But yeah, I was told that I dressed like a rapper. And
He was told that he dresses like a rapper. Does anyone agree? Is that dressing like a rapper? Who thinks that? What rapper does he look like? Does he look like a rapper? Oh, God.
they didn't like that, my people.
Right now, I can see that. Yeah.
Yes, they told me, they says, you know, what the fuck, you dress like a rapper. I had a different swag. You know, the modern day guys, we kind of like, he wears suits, his era.
His era? Areola was active around 2000. What the fuck you talking about? His era. You were never active, so you weren't in the mafia. Mafia members don't act like this.
I did this to the door.
Is that how mafia members act, Gene?
I did this to the door. I pushed the door in.
I got a video of you packing up to go on your next hit, right?
I don't want you talking my way. Just leave. You can talk to them.
Who's the bum?
I don't want you talking my way. Just leave. You can talk to them.
Talking about what?
Get out of my hallway.
Talking about what? You're a dirty hooer. That's what you are. Hey, look, tell everybody how you fucked 100 guys. Tell everybody that on YouTube. Tell everybody that. Tell everybody you fucked.
Big mafia man.
Everything and wear suits, we were more like the all proud, you know, like all the fashion. So we kind of related with the rappers more because that was our era. You know, I talk with a strong accent. I still.
No, it's because you weren't in the mafia. That's why you relate to the rappers more, because you were not in the mafia and you were never gonna be in the mob ever.
Dressed a little different, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know.
But something like shooting up a house is like kind of like a more modern invention, right?
Well, they tried to kill me on the highway. They shot my friend through her neck. He went to Italy hot.
Shot my friend through a neck? What, did he have two necks? They shot him through a neck. I don't get it.
Hiding from me. I tried to lure him back from Italy and I sprayed his house up with a Tech 9.
Tried to lure him back.
Shooting up a house is like kind
He tried to lure him back.
of like a more modern invention, right?
Well, they tried to kill me on the highway. They shot my friend through her neck. He went
Through a neck. He had two. They shot him through a neck. What neck did they shoot him through, Eugene?
to Italy hiding from me. I tried to lure him back from Italy and I sprayed his house up with a Tech 9.
Oh, you sprayed up his house because you knew he wasn't there. He was hiding in Italy. So why'd you murder his siding? You did a hit on his siding, Gene?
That's how I got him, you know. Told me you don't want to come back. All right.
Right.
All right, I'm going to murder your siding.
I'm going to shoot your house up every week then.
Is that
Did that work? Did you get him?
that's something you ended up having to confess to?
Yeah,
or
you know-
in the proffer agreement,
Yeah,
right?
because you know what happened was
When you ratted? Is that something you have to confess to? You're only hit the siding?
they says he did a gang. I'm not going to say what they said. He did a gang member move. You do a gang member move.
Yeah, well, I heard you say that in another interview.
I
I'm
can't
not
say
going to
the
say
word.
what.
I can't say
Is that N-word thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So they
No,
says you did that word, you did that move.
Right.
You go do that move. And I says, all right. They says go bring him back. He wants to shoot. My friend was an innocent person. He wasn't a gangster. I
Right.
shot to his fucking throat.
Okay, so your friend wasn't a gangster. So the mafia had you retaliate for someone who wasn't involved with the life? That doesn't make sense, Eugene.
Another friend got shot in his back. They were trying to kill me on a highway. They shot into a car, 8 bullets. You don't do that. You wait for the guy to get out his house, or
Right.
you know, move on him the right way.
And that's
you
that's probably what you wish we
right.
did.
You don't do that. You fuck.
It wasn't a girl or kids in the car, a bunch of jerk-offs, and you weren't in the mafia. So
Fucking shot my innocent friend to the fucking throat. Now it's no holds bars.
now it's no holds balls. Now it's no hold balls.
I went to the people. They says do what the fuck you want, and that,
Do whatever the fuck you want, Eugenio. You got full reign of the whole fucking mafia in back here, okay? Go fucking spray his house up with 2, 3, 4 bullets, all right?
that's how we got him back. I threw half a stick of dynamite in his brother's trunk with his brother in the car.
Wow.
You know, pineapple.
Oh, was that a botched hit too, Eugene? I thought you get killed for those.
M80 blockbuster pineapple. I threw a half a stick of dynamite in his pickup truck with him in
Oh, that's dangerous.
it because there was no holds bar because you did grimy shit. So they says go bring him back from Italy.
Wow.
That's what happened.
Go. Bring him back from Italy. Yo, here's him going on the hit. All right? Here's a video of him going on the hit.
I don't want you talking my way. Just leave.
He's got the dynamite in the bag.
I don't want you talking my way. Just leave. You can talk to them.
Talking about what? Amelia, let me go tell you what you're doing. Hold on. You want to play games? You got me get my box?
He's gonna go rat on his girlfriend for fucking around on him, all right? He's gonna tell the neighbors that she's selling her hoo-ha.
Amelia, let me go tell you what you're doing. Hold on. You want to play games? You got me get my boxes and leave or not? Can I get my boxes and leave? Okay, let me go tell them. Amelia, let me go tell you what you're doing. Hold on.
I believe that's ratting, right? It sounds like it.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. I was only 20 years old, bro.
Right.
You know what I mean? As a kid.
And do you feel like if you had made it through that period of time in your late teens or early 20s that you would have maybe like cooled off without having to necessarily go sit down?
No.
It was just in you?
Yeah.
You think you were just born to be that kind of guy?
Bad because I didn't come from a bad family.
Right.
You didn't come from a bad family, so you decided to be a total jerk off, right? That's how it works. Oh.
I wanted. You know what I mean? I didn't need. I had everything I wanted. I wanted more. I was just a bad kid in school. I would stab kids with pencils, hit them with chairs. It was just a bad kid. There's just nothing I could do. My dad was like that. It's just it's almost in like your DNA. Like, this kid's just gonna be bad. You know what I mean? So, and the mafia took all. They seen me. I'm 18 years old. Stabbing kids. Doing.
Oh yeah, the mafia. They saw you and they wanted you. Is that what you're saying? Put you under their mafia wing. Oh man.
Doing things, so you get, like you said, you get noticed. This kid's a fucking wild kid. Have him collect money for us.
It's a wild business to be in, though, because me seeing somebody who's got
think about
a
this,
willingness to do that much
Yeah.
violence, I'm also looking at them like they're so hot-headed. Why the fuck would I trust them?
They love.
They didn't trust him, not even a little bit. They had him go get a couple envelopes. That's it. Like, this guy was not in the mafia.
That, but let me ask you a question for this. Ready? A 19-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid making $3,000 a week.
Right.
Think about that. I have no education. I have a ninth grade
You're
education.
feeling yourself.
I have no education. My brothers who went to college and all this stuff ain't making no money.
When you're that age, you think that you know everything, and if you're making $3,000 a week, then you're thinking, well, I'm making more money than my teachers, my parents,
Then
etc.
I went to $10,000 a week.
Yeah.
I'm making.
All right, now it goes to $10,000 a week. So now he's. Oh, he was a captain in the Bonanno family now, right? This guy's just all over the fucking place. No one believes any of his bullshit.
$40,000 a month as a 26-year-old kid.
Right.
Think about that. I'm making sometimes $40,000, $50,000 a month doing nothing.
Now it's 50,000. It went from 3,000 a week to 50,000 a month. It wasn't your money. It was Ronnie G. Alonzo's money. Talk about how you cooperated against him. And none of it was your money. None of it. You were picking up a couple envelopes. Ronnie G went to prison. You were collecting envelopes. You got a half crack from Vinny Acero. Why don't you talk about that? How Vinny Acero slapped you in your mouth. You don't want to talk about that, huh?
And your bosses are all murderers.
All murderers.
So it's not like
it's like I'm the man. People look at us like celebrities. You understand that where we're from? Literally, they're like, oh, he's with that guy, that crew. They're like,
nobody in his neighborhood ever looked at him like a celebrity. They all thought Gene was a scumbag.
Like gods, you know what I mean? So it's like you start thinking you're above the world.
But,
you know what I mean?
okay, New York City is one of the worst places to carry a firearm illegally.
We're all carrying. I never not had a gun. On
Yeah,
me.
We're all carrying. We're all carrying. No, all you do is make threats. You don't carry shit. You just make a lot of threats.
every mafia guy just always got it
I
on
mean,
him.
the gun guys were. I never not had, if you know anyone that knows me that watches this podcast right now, I confessed to 17 shootings. Okay, I loved pistols. I was a gun guy. I carried on me 24/7. One under my car, one on me. That's how I was. I loved
Under
guns.
your car?
Under the seat,
Oh,
and one
okay,
on me.
yeah.
So I had one in the car, 9mm Beretta, 16 shots, and I had a 380 or 38 on my body.
But so are you just catching gun cases all the time?
No,
the
I
cops
caught-
are pulling you over or what?
No, see, in our area, it's a beautiful neighborhood.
Right.
They're not balling us. They're not in the hood. We're in a house. Houses worth $3 million. We're driving around in brand new cars, Rolexes. You know what I'm saying? We look like rich kids, but we're not. We're criminals.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's talking about Ronnie G's house, the $3 million house. It was not his house. None of it was his money. He's trying to live Ronnie G's life. This is fucking insane. They're like, the mental health is real. It's real. And you're witnessing it firsthand.
how are you guys kind of avoiding getting on the radar of the cops at
Because
that
the
point?
FBI's there, not the cops.
Oh, okay.
They want you to fucking do that. They sit back. They watch you. They let you. They build cases. They'll investigate you for what? 7 years, 8 years, and they'll come lock you up.
Usually it's 18 months, 18 months, and then 24.
And then 20 months.
So it goes 5 years, and then they can go in another extension.
Okay, but when you guys say like that the mafia doesn't exist like it used to, and there's been all these measures put into place to crack down on it and stuff, from my perspective, I look at a lot of the street gang stuff in Chicago or LA, and it feels like none of that shit has happened with those communities in comparison. Now, sometimes you will hear about like, oh yeah, like there was this era that so many indictments came down, and the cops are definitely doing things to try to take them out. But why was there such a concerted focus on the?
So Gene talks like he's the only one to ever put a gun in his hand. He's the only person on earth to commit a crime. But you got his partner there, Aleto, you know, the mafia's Rambo. The only thing Eugene does is this.
I'll tell the judge and prosecutor to suck my dick like I've done before. Okay?
Uh-oh.
That's all he does. Makes a bunch of fucking threats.
I don't mind talking my hallway, just leave.
What?
You can talk to them.
Talking about what?
Get out of my hallway.
Talking about what? Dirty whore. That's what you are. Hey, look, tell everybody how you fucked 100 guys. Tell everybody that on YouTube. Tell everybody that. Tell everybody you fucked your neighbor. Matter of fact, let me go talk to Andrew. Amelia, let me go tell your neighbors what you're doing. Hold on. You want to play games? You got me get my boxes and leave or no? Can I get my boxes and leave? Okay, let me go tell them. Amelia, let me go tell your neighbors what you're doing. Hold on. We're gonna end it with just one word.
Sure.
They get all right. So you're a prosecutor, right? You prosecute gangs. You don't get promoted. Nothing happens to you. You prosecute organized crime. You become the fucking president, a fucking judge, politician. Right. They're the biggest case in the country. Every prosecutor's dream is to have a mafia case because they become somebody off of us.
What's this us shit that you speak of? Remember, loose associate at best. You guys are out of control.
Anybody that's somebody in the 70s and 80s and 90s is because of organized crime cases. Giuliani, all these guys that became somebodies is because they prosecute Italian mafia.
But you can say the same thing now about the people who are prosecuting cases like street gang stuff with like rappers and shit. Like I'm sure that YSL Young Thug Rico, that's got to be the huge thing.
Think
for
about
the
when you
people involved,
prosecute
right?
John Gotti, the biggest crime figure in the world.
Right.
I mean,
Come
the
on,
gangs are doing the violence, but the Italian mafia was 1,000 times more money-wise than they were making. And, you know, but like up until the 90s, they were involved they were everywhere.
And the Pink Panthers made 1,000 times more money than the mafia did. Did you know that? And they were stealing shit a lot smarter than you fucking dopes. You guys are not in the mafia.
Major cities, states had the presence of the mafia, so the money that was involved, it was a global organization.
Right.
Yeah, and Gene was at the center of all of it.
You know, from Italy, they would have different types. They had the Django, they had the Camorra, and they would go to Germany, they would go to Argentina. They would, you know, it was a global organization. So I don't think like, you know, you have gangs who's on a street corner and, you know, it's a lot less, a lot of violence.
Yeah, selling small amounts of drugs and then killing each other.
And they have a lot of
not as impactful numbers. From the viewpoint of the government, right?
They have numbers,
right?
And they have guns, and their main racket is drugs, whereas the mafia had 15 street rackets going on, and they still messed around with drugs. But the difference is they messed around with drugs.
Wow, clowns to the left and clowns to the right.
Like on the higher level. So when the mafia messed with drugs, it filtered down to where it got to the street level gangs. Right. You know, we're dealing with multi-kilos of, say, coke and heroin. And those levels get to a middleman who eventually get it to a street guy who eventually breaks it down and gives it to his guys. And
so you guys are working with like black street gangs.
I did.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're not supposed to.
That's not that's forbidden.
No, I did too.
I did too. We had carte blanche. We were the mafia. We had our own mafia family. It was called the Lip family. It was called the Areola family and the Lip family.
I had a robber. I was a known robber. I was a big heist guy. I hit.
No, you were known for tying up old ladies and sitting in the car while people rob people. Don't fucking lie, Eugene. Gene eats corn on the cob, sideways. The long way.
Brinks trucks, brewery stores. That was my
Brinks trucks? Now you robbing Brinks trucks, huh? Fucking I call bullshit, Eugene.
thing. I love to steal. Now, organized crime really didn't approve of home invasions, which I did on.
Wait, what did he just say? He loved to what? Because didn't he deny that that little jewelry fiasco with Ric Flair? He just said, I love to steal. Because he knows.
You're wearing Ric Flair's stolen jewelry, and I told them. You're wearing Ric Flair's stolen jewelry, and I told them.
Yeah, you love to steal, all right.
Drug dealers and people, they don't like that, but I've done them. And I had a robbery team, and I would use gang members.
Right.
Did you get them from Chicago?
And I would use Latin Kings, Bloods, and Crips, and you could never put them on record with you and say they're with me.
Right.
But you could use them on the side on the low.
Is the rule that you're not allowed to really fuck with people that are outside your race, or is it is it
No,
more
but
just
you
like
just-
doing these specific?
He's like, no, I told everyone I'm in the mafia. He went around telling everyone I'm in the mafia. Did this lowlife put Ronnie G in prison? Yes, he did. Ronnie G is in prison because of this guy, Eugene. He collected a few dollars for Ronnie. Now Eugene's talking about he had $1 million homes. He was making $50,000 a month. All bullshit. All Ronnie G's. And guess what? Ronnie G's getting out of prison soon. We'll see where this rat goes when he gets out.
Specific actions with other gang members.
Right, you can't.
I got made into the family when at the induction ceremony. I was told if I fuck around with drugs or counterfeit money, I forfeit my life. So that was the thing with drugs, and I got made in 2003.
Right.
What about you, Eugene? What happened when you got made?
So that existed up until then.
They put a hot curling iron on his lips.
Which they're a bunch of hypocrites anyways, because
Yeah,
the
they all
bosses of our family got arrested in 57s, in the 50s for major heroin dealers.
This guy wasn't even born then. I don't know why he's talking about it.
But you will
And
die for
throughout
dealing
that time.
drugs.
But you will die if you're dealing drugs. But I had carte blanche. I got to do whatever I wanted. My name's Gene Barillo Lips.
They had
So
the
many
pizza
people have been
connection
killed over
in
drugs.
the, in the 80s. They had the big pizza
Yeah.
connection case, all heroin coming in, dealing with the mafia families. But yeah, so there was I was told I almost got killed back in the mid 90s. And it was only for marijuana. I got my house raided for like 40 pounds of marijuana, and in Massachusetts,
He said he almost got killed for marijuana, but he wasn't in the mafia in the 90s. So the fuck is he talking about? These guys are delusional.
a misdemeanor, 50 pounds or under, and not in a school zone. It's a misdemeanor charge. You don't even go. You probably get probation, if that. And my boss wasn't involved in it, and he was worried that they were going to clip him because they thought that he was involved with me making a profit in them drug deals.
But you weren't in the mafia then. You weren't a made man until 2003. So how'd you almost get clipped for marijuana in the middle 90s? How? Makes no sense, Areola.
So they took it serious in the drug business, but yeah, that was we weren't allowed to, which I did anyways. But you weren't allowed to sell drugs.
I was robbing drug dealers like crazy, extorting them.
Yeah, that's
We were
another
doing-
thing, too,
I was
is
terrorizing them. That was, we terrorized them.
Yeah, it looks like you were terrorizing your ex-girlfriend. That's all. The only fucking terrorizing you were doing there, Barillo.
I don't mind talking, Molly. Just leave.
You dealing drugs?
I don't mind talking, Molly. Just leave. You can talk to them.
Amelia, let me go tell you what you're doing. Hold on. You want to play games? You got to get my boxes and leave or no? Can I get my boxes and leave? Okay, let me go tell them. I did this to the door. I did this to the door. I did this to the door.
Mafia.
Did too.
You seem like you just wanted to get a lot of extracurricular activities in there. Right?
I was a violent guy. I was a wild guy. You know, I have ADD, ADHD. You know, I was bipolar. I have a lot of chemical imbalances. You know,
Yeah, you're a blatant liar.
just a bad kid. And yeah, I was always in some shit. You know, I beefed with everybody.
Everybody, all the girlfriends you had, huh?
It was like my thing.
Definitely.
You know, I had multiple attempts on my life. You know what I mean? At least 5.
Really?
Yeah, and everybody gets shot but me. It's fucked up.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. You guys get locked up. Do you just automatically have to be clicked up with a bunch of fucking white supremacists, or are you guys kind of in your own
hell
little
no.
thing?
I'm in Rikers Island, bro. No
Right.
white supremacists in there. You can't have a SWAT
And
team. You
that's
can't
New
take your
York.
shirt off.
And that's
Hey, what do you know? I just got a picture of Eugene in prison. Exclusive. Exclusive. There you go. There's a picture of Eugene in prison. That's him in Rikers Island. Running the block. There's another one. He looks like he's pretty comfortable in that one, huh? He looks comfortable in that block. Got another one. Look at that. Hold my pocket. Hold my pocket. Man.
state, like he's in state, you know, New York, the state of New York, which is a lot bigger, obviously. State
Yeah.
New York City, Rikers Island's like
It's a horror show.
it's bad, but in Mass, it's totally different.
It's totally different, right? Because you're a rat and you went to prison. They didn't fucking kill your ass. Frauds nowadays, straight up frauds. You're right, Danny. These guys are insane. Mental health, right? Mental illness is real. You guys are witnessing it firsthand. Angela says Gene is such a tough guy who beats his girlfriend and is known for some invasions of elderly. He's a punk, 100%. He got chased out of his own neighborhood.
You know, I've been going to prison since 1990 at the age of 21. And it's totally different. Like organized crime, there's a ton of crazy Irish.
Talk about the last time you got arrested after you cooperated, Areola. You want to talk about that? The last time you got arrested. It's quite entertaining, I think. You got into a fight with one of your kids, right? And I believe you assaulted one of them and you went to jail. You went to jail for that one. Let me show you something. That was July 29th, 2019. The region's most notorious mafia killer was arrested Sunday and charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Now, why was that? Why was he arrested for that? For throwing a lemonade carton at a relative. That's what he was charged with. Throwing a lemonade carton at a relative. Here, let me show you guys. Since no one else will. Here's your big mafia killer right here. Look, he has new hair in his little interview there. That's him without the hair plugs. He threw a lemonade carton at one of his kids, I believe. We're going to read it. It says, the region's most notorious mafia killer was arrested Sunday and charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon after allegedly hurled a lemonade carton at a female relative. The dispute was over a sick dog, which witness said Anthony Areola threatened to kill the dog. Areola, 50, pleaded guilty at his arraignment Monday in Springfield court, and his bail was set at $500. The assistant district attorney, Tyson Fung, asked the judge to set bail at $2,500 cash. Areola of Springfield was on federal probation at the time. Areola is a federal government star witness in two separate separate murder trials in New York City in 2011, 2012. He began cooperating with law enforcement in 2010. In 2010, he pleaded guilty to the 2003 murders of former mentor Al Bruno and former brother-in-law Gary Westerman. The attempted murder of New York union boss. He served 8 years in prison and opted out of the witness protection program. Now he flaunts his little face all over Springfield, Mass. He was arraigned, McKenna set September 25th for a classification of counsel date. Areola does not qualify for court-appointed lawyer. Private practice bar advocate who represented multiple defendants in the district court Monday represented Areola on his arraignment day. Rivera said Areola was working full-time. Family member was at court to post bail. According to Rivera account of the incident, Areola is allergic to dogs. The family member left a sick dog at his home and he wanted it removed. A report on the arrest by Springfield police officer Brandon Linhan said officers spoke with Areola's son and told them Areola had threatened to kill the dog, and that he then called a female relative who arrived at the home with the victim. Areola and the victim got into an argument, both screaming, calling each other various names. Areola picked up a full carton of lemonade and threw it at the victim during the argument. The victim was struck in the leg and did not suffer any visible injuries. She declined treatment. It doesn't say how this whole thing ended. We can only speculate.
Mass, and they're organized criminals, just like the Italians. And the presence of them in the Massachusetts state prison, they have more of a presence and a dangerous presence than the other criminals, blacks, Spanish. Multiple murders back then in the 70s, 80s. They were dropping bodies in Walpole, Mass, and everything. So the president in the state prison system, Mass, and I tell this to everybody, him and other guys that were in New York, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Mass is dangerous. Connecticut's a dangerous prison system. A lot of people think, oh, Connecticut ain't dangerous. It seems like it's a nice place to live. Yeah, you'd be very wrong. You would be sorely mistaken if you went to prison here and you were for somewhere else. You would definitely be quite surprised at the conditions you live in, and it's not what you think.
Prison system isn't like Mass. It's more, I guess, the gang presence,
chaotic,
and everything. And
Rikers Island is like the street. I mean, it's just chaotic. I mean, you literally can't sit in a chair without fighting for it.
The first guy he showed me is, you get a disciplinary report, the D report, and he shows it to me, and the D report was for murder. They gave him a D report.
Yeah, they don't
charge
care.
was murder.
They don't.
Oh, geez. These guys. We're going to continue this one down the road. I got a bunch of things to do. I got interviews to get ready, so I'm going to save our spot, and we'll get back to this another time. I appreciate all you guys. Make sure you guys go check out the interviews I got. I'm going to be dropping a couple of them today. I got a bunch more that are getting edited right now. Make sure you check out the hijacker and the stewardess. That's an insane story. There's two people on the interview. It goes back and forth from the hijacker to the woman that he hijacked on the plane, and they're both telling the same story from different aspects. It's a really good one. I appreciate all you guys. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, too bad. Start your own podcast. And remember, don't be a bitch.
And all new at 5, a major organized crime bust. 23 people under arrest now accused of stealing guns and cash.
Today, police revealed 4 organized crime groups are wreaking havoc.
From aggravated robbery to kidnapping, burglary, and more. Let's take a look at this. New pictures from court documents in this case. These are a few of the people who have been charged, and investigators say the money, tens of thousands of dollars, is all stolen.